All right. Well, it looks like the attendance has most folks have entered, and I say that, and then a few more folks jump in. No problem. Um, Thanks everybody for making time to be here today. We really appreciate it for this monthly COVID open forum for staff and MPPs. We did have a forum yesterday for our faculty that went well, and so we're looking forward to sharing information with all of you today. Attendance number still going up, so we'll just wait another minute, make sure that everybody's able to get in. All right, looks like we're just about there. So let's go ahead and get started. Arlene, if you want to skip down to the next slide, that'd be great. Welcome everybody. We're really glad that you're here. This presentation is being recorded and it will be available on the HRDI COVID website as well. So you're welcome to refer to it, or if there's things you want to go back and see or share with a colleague, that'd be great. The purpose of these open forums is to provide updates on COVID in the Orange County and update you on the reentry activities across campus, talk a little bit about testing and vaccines and how we aim to navigate our ongoing pandemic experience. Today, as we have in the past meetings, we'll share the latest thinking on our fall plans and answer questions the best way we can at the end. We're also framing today around fall to make the session as valuable as possible for you and to make sure that we're talking about the health and safety context we predict in July and August, as opposed to the reality today. And I know that that's a big thing, but that's what we're going to be focusing on. We will hold two of these forums over the summer on June 3rd and July 8th, and we invite you to join us for those. We'll be including any faculty that want to attend on those as well. As we know, faculty are mostly off contract during the summer, so we won't hold a separate faculty forum, but all of our community will be welcome to join us for those. As we go along, you're welcome to put your chats, your questions in the Q&A, and we'll do our best to answer those either in writing or we'll work them in as we go along. So please feel free to do that as well. We'll skip down to the do we get all the agenda items? I think so. Oh yeah, good, thank you. We want to start today by talking to talking about some of the positive changes that have happened. Lots of things are happening now, and lots of things are happening kind of proactively from there. As you all seen, Disneyland is reopened, right? This is Orange County. That's a big deal. After 14 months, Disneyland is reopened. That's a really good sign. K-12 education, we continue to hear about more and more districts that plan to be fully returned, especially in Orange County, for the fall, to be operating just like normal. Travel things are starting to open up for folks, including Europe making some recent announcement. We know that childcare centers in the area are opening for the summer, and we do have a resource document on that on our website that we invite you to take a look at. And over the vaccination levels in California continue to rise quickly, and we're thankful that lots of folks are choosing to get vaccinated and that the uptake rate is high here locally. In terms of safely returning, most of our employees will return to campus on July 1. There are some employees, of course, that never left, and we want to thank those folks for continuing to ensure that our campus is in great shape and ready for us when we all return. And then there are some folks who may return prior to July 1 to prepare the campus for the rest of us to re-enter. As you all likely heard in the media, the Chancellor's Office, in conjunction with the University of California, recently announced that they would require the vaccine for all members of our community. There's one big caveat on that. The caveat being that at least one of the vaccines currently available will need to be off the emergency use authorization and be fully authorized by the FDA and the CDC. That has not yet happened. And until that happens, we won't be able to fully implement that vaccine requirement. In the meantime, we continue to pursue our plan that we've outlined and that we believe is a safe return to campus. We will require all members of our campus community, faculty, staff, and students to test every week on campus as they return and a little bit prior to their return. And for those that choose to be vaccinated, you'll be able to opt out of that testing. So what we're going to do is go full speed ahead on Cal State Fullerton's plan. We know that it's a safe way to return to campus. And as the Chancellor's Office plan rolls out, as the EUA things play out, we will shift to the Chancellor's plan as appropriate and as it becomes fully implemented. Those employees that are not vaccinated will be required to test weekly under our Cal State Fullerton plan. We are continuing and will continue to follow all of the state, county, and OSHA guidelines. And we do anticipate that many of those guidelines will be lessened and changed prior to July 1, including the guideline for physical distancing. So we are planning with that in mind. Last month, lots of folks asked about services on campus coming back into play, and Kristen Jasko's here today to talk about parking. That was a hot topic last month, so Kristen's here and we're thankful for that. At the same time, dining services will remain constant over the summer with Starbucks in the library and Carl's Jr. open, and additional dining outlets will continue to open as the campus reopens. You can follow CSUF Dining on Instagram, and we'll have somebody put that in the chat so that folks can see that link there as well, so you can follow that. In addition to that, the library will reopen over the summer. Titan shops will be 100% open by fall. They are open now and do have some limited hours every day, even currently. And you can visit them at titanshops.com for those updates. And we have our good colleague, Andrea Kelligrew, here with us today as well to give us a brief update on our upcoming commencement activities. So Andrea, I'll turn it over to you. There she is.
Hi, everybody. Hi, thank you for having me, David. I just wanted to let everyone know that we are excited and that we are going to invite our class of 20 and class of 21 back to campus to have a commencement stage walk experience. That is going to happen beginning on Saturday, June 12th, and we're going to have with the class of 2020, and then on Sunday, June 13th, we'll start with the class of 21, and we'll go Sunday, Monday, Tuesday with ceremonies for them. As you can imagine, the commencement, as always, requires everyone on campus to be involved and to help out. And so with the addition of guests as well, we announced guests a couple weeks ago. So each graduate's going to be able to bring 2 guests with them. We are going to have a call out for staff volunteers. We're excited to invite you back to come and assist with our graduates and work those days of commencement. As everything, we're a little delayed in getting things out. Our intention was to have that call to action out today before I visited with you all here, but we will definitely have it out tomorrow. So we're looking for people to sign up for 6-hour shifts. We're going to have a variety of different staffing opportunities. We'll still have information booths. We're going to have some check-in responsibilities and greeting guests and graduates. So just wanted to encourage you all to sign up. We look forward to seeing you at commencement. Thanks,
Andrea. Another big element in kind of returning to some normalcy, and always such an important milestone to celebrate our students for sure. So we're very fortunate today to have Professor Jasmeet Gill with us to share some of her expertise around the vaccines, and we'll turn it over to you now.
Thank you, David, for the warm welcome. I just want to spend a few minutes talking about the vaccines that are available and how we got from a year ago, starting out with the quarantine, and now we have 3 vaccines. So I thought I'd touch on some of the topics and processes that made it happen. So there's 3 vaccines available right now. There are 2 mRNA vaccines, that's on the right side. Those are the Pfizer and the Moderna vaccines. And in the middle, you see sort of what an adenovirus vaccine looks like. And that's right now, we call that the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Next slide. All 3 of these vaccines had to be FDA approved. They have gone through phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3 approval. So I thought I'd just briefly touch on what the processes are so you feel confident, if you haven't had the vaccines yet, that we have done the due diligence. So phase 1 is just basically getting the dosing down, looking for toxicity, And once it passes phase 1, you go on to a phase 2, where you start administering the vaccine to a larger sample of people. And if phase 2 is successful, you go on to phase 3. As I said, all 3 vaccines have passed phase 3, and they have been made available to the general public through this emergency use authorization. Next one, please. In the news, there's a lot of information probably bombarding all of us. And some of the things that I've heard is about efficacy. So I thought I'd just briefly talk about how efficacy for a vaccine can be measured many different ways. And in fact, for all 3 of these research, the phase 3 trials for all 3 vaccines, they looked at outcomes such as symptomatic disease, positive test, which would include people who are asymptomatic, and then severe disease, which was defined as hospitalization and or death. And if you consider severe disease as the outcome measure for efficacy, all 3 vaccines have quite high efficacy, including the Johnson & Johnson. As we've been implementing it, we have more updated data, and those numbers have actually come up and are closer to 90%. Next, please. Just to give you a little bit of a frame of what a regular vaccine development sort of looks like, usually vaccine trials last about a year. And if we're looking at an influenza vaccine trial, they can be even shorter, 6 to 7 months. So the 3 vaccines that are available now have all been conducted with phase 3 trials through 4 months of follow-up. So that shortening that we did for this emergency use authorization was only by a few months. And the technology that was used to make these 3 vaccines happen so quickly is technology that has been worked on for 20 plus years. So I hope I was able to clarify any differences across the 3 vaccines and to give you a background to how we got from quarantine a year ago to 3 options for carrying our lives forward in a safe way. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Thank you for being here. We'll now turn to Mary and John for a little bit more about vaccines and testing.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm happy to start us off with a conversation on vaccines, testing, and reporting, and then John will take over with information on face covers and other safety and mitigation measures. I'm happy to be here. We wanted to kind of piggyback off of Dr. Gill's presentation to just give you an idea of the vaccination kind of rates that we're seeing here locally in Orange County. About little over 48% of our folks in Orange County have had at least 1 dose of the vaccine, which is great turnout, and just under 34% have been fully vaccinated. So just trying to encourage folks to go back for that 2nd dose if you have it, even if it's after the 6 weeks that you received your 1st dose. Contact your whatever agency you used to get your 1st vaccine and sign up for that 2nd one if you were a part of a 2-dose series. We're also really proud to be able to announce that as you got an email last week from HR, that the campus has partnered with St. Jude Providence to offer vaccinations to our students, employees, and their family members in their immediate household. And so please, utilize that opportunity to be able to either go to St. Jude and register through their site and get an appointment and receive the vaccine there here in Fullerton. Or we're also happy to announce that we were able to have St. Jude come onto our campus on Thursday, May 13th. So that's next Thursday, May 13th. They'll be here on our campus to provide vaccines for folks with an appointment. So the first about 350 people that log in there and can choose our vaccination, choose Cal State Fullerton as the vaccination site, you'll be able to sign up for an appointment and come to campus on Thursday, May 13th. If you're coming to campus solely for a vaccine, you do not need a 1-day or single-use pass. You just go ahead, come on campus, get that vaccine, and then you can turn around and head back home. So that's the information on the vaccines and kind of what we're seeing here in Orange County. As far as testing, we are happy to secure a third-party vendor that will be coming in and providing testing for our folks here on campus. So it will be a saliva test. It's a PCR test, which is a gold standard test. one of the most sensitive tests that we can give for COVID-19. And so it's a very quick specimen collection. It's an observed specimen collection. You'll come to campus, you'll do the specimen collection here with us, and then we turn it over and have this third-party vendor process that test. And most results will be available within the same day, if not within 24 hours. And those results will be sent through a secure health portal for you to log in and be able to get your test results. We will be asking our staff who have not participated in the vaccine for various reasons to be tested. If you're returning to campus July 1st or after, you will need to do a re-entry test if you are not vaccinated. Or if you choose not to share your vaccine records with us, then we will ask you to do what we're considering a re-entry test. And the dates for those tests, as well as how you sign up for that, will be coming to you through HR in an email. And so more information on that to come, and hopefully very shortly here, as we've been able to move along quickly in securing that testing vendor this week. For students and faculty who have not been vaccinated or cannot share their vaccine records, we will be asking for them to also do a re-entry test before classes start. And so that will be done the weeks of August 16th and August 23rd. And so again, they will get that information also through either HR or the Dean of Students on how to sign up for those tests and come and get and do their testing. Last but not least, we've also been able to secure a vendor who's going to assist us with providing a secure health portal for folks to upload either their vaccine record or an exemption form, and to have that verified and be able to note that the individuals have met the need for demonstrating either a vaccine record or an exemption so that we can be compliant. And more information is going to come on that as well, most likely early next week, or hopefully very soon thereafter, on how folks can voluntarily start submitting that documentation to opt out of the weekly testing and the reentry testing that is coming up quickly here. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to John Beisner.
Thanks, Mary, and good afternoon to everyone. So as we kind of bring this health and safety section to a close, I want to talk about President's Directive 21, which we wrote in August, and it's amazing to see how much has changed in those 8.5 months since that time. Even as we anticipate a full return in the fall, we will still need Directive 21. So it's going to be updated so it provides guidance and more importantly, sets expectations for the members of our community. The updated version will address vaccinations and those things that are now possible because folks have been vaccinated. It will reflect the latest guidance. For those of you who attended the forum last month, Leo talked a lot about how the CDC has learned a lot about transmission, and what we know now is different from what we know then. So the advice and counsel is different. It will incorporate the most effective mitigation measures. So in addition to vaccinations, it's likely that we'll still require face coverings, and there will still be health screens, and we'll still encourage folks to wash their hands. So just know the vaccinations are just one tool, an important tool of a very large toolkit that we're implementing to ensure the health and safety of our community. We're also doing a lot to promote compliance, and I'm going to turn it over to David to talk a little bit about that.
Thanks, John. We know that compliance with Directive 21 is an important element here, and there have already been some resources put out for faculty from the Dean of Students Office, and we encourage folks to check those out. In addition to that, we're working on a great deal of signage that will go up around campus. We will be reviewing at new student orientation with our new students the requirement for masking. Faculty are able to put it in their syllabi. We have heard the concerns around enforcement, and we are taking them seriously, and we'll continue to update you on those as we move forward. In addition to that, DSS will be working with students who need a medical exemption there, and we will monitor our post June 15th experience and continue to update and work with the campus as we work toward a successful reentry in this area. And did we want to take a pause, Mary, to answer a couple of the follow-up questions? You want to come back to those at the end?
We can go ahead and answer some of those now. There was a question about magnification of the PCR test. I'm actually going to try to find a quick link that to our testing that we will be using through Shield T3. Again, it is a saliva-based test. So nothing in the nose will be required. No Q-tips will be required. Happy to say that. And so it's saliva based, and I will try to find a link for some specific information about the Shield T3 testing.
Thank you.
Mhm.
In addition to that, somebody did ask about the vaccines that are taking place on campus. We will be sending that information out later this week for those that'll take place on the 13th in partnership with St. Jude. So that information will be coming soon still. Just working out the final details on those. Many of these things move very quickly. So we're working on that one. And then let's, I think, maybe go over to Kristen for parking, and then we'll circle back to some of these other questions.
Hi, everyone. As we prepare for reentry, I just wanted to share some information about the services that Parking Transportation Service offers and give some information. I will share, we're going to be sending out an email later this month that will have all of this information I'm about to share, and it's also available on our website, so you're welcome to look there as well. But a few main points is as you return to campus, you're going to want that parking permit. You can purchase that parking permit on our website, and it can be done the day you return. You'll be asked for a license plate, and you'll be able to print out a temporary permit to use until your permit arrives. You can purchase either a semester permit or a payroll deduction permit if you need to re-enroll. If you did not ever return your parking permit, you are good to go. There's nothing you need to do. If you need to re-enroll, you can do that up to a week in advance, and we'll apply that parking permit towards your July 1 entry date. So again, on our website, we'll have all the information you need, and you're always welcome to reach out to our team, either at parking@fullerton.edu. Or our extension at 3082. Next, I want to share about the construction impacts on campus. As you may know, the Housing and Residential Life project is taking place on Lot E. So the parking spaces that were previously in Lot E for employees have been relocated to Titan Hall. So Titan Hall is now an entirely employee parking lot, and there has been no space loss. All spaces have been reallocated to other locations. And then lastly, for those who choose to commute via alternative transportation, our department is here to help you and support you in that effort. So as of July 1, all of our alternative transportation programs and options will be reinstated. You can reach out to us and for additional information, go on our website. You're welcome to email the Commuter Services Department directly at cservices@fullerton.edu. And we're happy to help you. So all of the reimbursements, incentives, all of those will be instated beginning July 1. And with that, I will send it over to Ramel.
Thank you for those updates, Kristen. Good afternoon, everyone. And thank you for having me here to talk to you a little bit more about a new exciting program that we've got to implement. So Cal State Fullerton will be changing from a primarily desktop model to a laptop-only model. What this means is that for all staff who have a rollout desktop, you will be receiving a new laptop that's actually more powerful than your existing standard desktop rollout. The strategy that we'll be utilizing utilizes a laptop with a docking station, and your docking station basically will connect your laptop to the monitor, to a keyboard, a mouse, and a webcam. For PC users, what this means is that the docking station will connect to your existing monitors, but for iMac users, who have built-in monitors with their desktops, a new monitor will be issued. So as always, IT will be helping you out with this. And one of the important things that we need to do is actually help you to transfer your files from the desktop to Dropbox. And once we've done that and the files have been transferred over, we will then retrieve the desktop, the rollout desktop by IT. So what this does for staff members, and again, this is the first time that we're issuing laptops to all staff, this creates mobile computing capabilities for you and provides you with the flexibility to work virtually during the pandemic and when we return to the campus. So again, very exciting, and it's something that we're pushing to roll out during the summer.
During this summer, Ramel, yes, during this summer?
During this summer.
Thank you.
With that, I believe John Beisner is next with, is it travel?
You have a couple questions we might deal with just quickly to see if we can get them, Ramel. If I have a desktop and a laptop, does this new program replace both or just the desktop?
It should replace both. So if you have one of those device requests laptops, they're not nearly as powerful as the laptop that we're going to be issuing out. So you would need to turn in the laptop as well as the desktop as soon as we help you transfer the data over from both devices. Good question.
Thank you. Thank you. And Ramel, you might just see, you should be able to answer several of the other questions, I think, in the chat. It'd be great, or if you're writing it. Thank you. I think that is up to you, John, then, for travel restrictions.
Sure. So as a sign of more progress, the CSU lifted its travel restrictions, and those will be lifted as of June 1st. So the university is contemplating what that will look like. So for summer through fall, we know that travelers must be fully vaccinated, and that's for the health and safety of the individual traveling. In addition to following all CDC guidelines, only that travel that not be postponed, for which there's not a virtual option that is essential, will be considered. And each president for their own division will determine what is essential. And we know that essential must be critical to an academic mission or to one of the many business functions of the university. So this is just one more sign, one more indication that that there's progress being made. As David mentioned in his opening, the EU is now opening itself up to travel. And so just another sign that things are changing, and as we kind of set our expectations of what the fall will look like. And with that, I think we can open it up to questions.
I was going to start, John, just with a couple questions. There are a couple questions in there about guests that are coming to campus. As you all know, I think in something that none of us would have ever imagined, our campus has been closed to all guests. We do anticipate that changing as the guidance changes, and we are working on what that will look like and what kind of protocols we'll put into place for our guests. Professor Gill shared that, the point of using masks indoors and getting vaccinated are put in place so that if a guest comes to campus and they're positive, they wouldn't affect others. That's the whole point of the vaccination. You can control yourself, but not everyone around you. So thank you, Professor Gill, for that, reminding us about that. And know that we will continue to address this, and there will be more guidance coming about events and guests and all those kinds of things. I think Andrea shared as well that they're looking at a screening for those that are coming to the in-person commencement things. So thank you for that. And then I think there was just one other in there that I was going to try to address just quickly. Yes, there was a question also for those that are working remotely now. We do anticipate that our temporary telecommuting policy will end before our return to campus, and that the vast majority of us will return to campus and we'll start working back on campus. And your best source of information for that as it relates to your own position is your current supervisor. And we'd very much encourage you to talk with your supervisor about what the plans are for your position, knowing that the vast majority of those will be returning to campus on a regular basis. And for those that have need for a medical exemption, accommodation, you're welcome to reach out to Griselda Marquez in HRDI, and she'll be happy to talk with you about that. So let's see, Tara or Kristen, anybody want to help facilitate a few of those questions? Or
there's a couple more questions on testing that I wanted to just go over really quick, David. There's
Thank
some
you.
questions in the chat around how can we ensure confidentiality. We will have multiple testing stations set up around campus. And again, remember, testing isn't just for folks that don't have a vaccine. Anyone will be allowed to be tested on a weekly basis. So even if, for example, even if I'm vaccinated, but I feel more comfortable getting tested weekly, I will have the ability to do that. So those testing locations will be around campus. We are looking to provide some sense of privacy for people to go in, provide their sample and leave. And so we will be hopefully having those in some various settings on campus that will ensure some degree of privacy. But again, you know, if you go out on your own and walk into your doctor's office or go into CVS for a vaccine or a test, you're still in a public space. And so we can't control being able, you know, to provide, you know, privacy for everyone coming and going from every single test station, but it is similar to you going to your own private healthcare provider or another entity for testing, as we've been doing in the past year. Additionally, there's some questions in there about testing for, or I'm sorry, what kind of documentation we will need for verification of vaccine. We are planning on putting that information together. And again, that will come out to employees from HRDI with the instructions on how to upload that vaccine verification information, and will come out from the Dean of Students office for how students can do that as well. And so more to come on that. Please be checking your email in the coming week, and hopefully we can provide that information to you.
I think that's an important point, Mary, right? We are planning to use for our employees a third-party vendor that's HIPAA compliant, that will comply with all of the health privacy things. Us as your employer will not be collecting that vaccine record. It'll go to the third-party vendor. They'll verify that information, and they'll let us know who's out of compliance so that we can follow up with those folks and get them into compliance. So thank you. All
David,
right.
there was a question about blanket travel. At this time, with the need to ensure that all travel is essential, blanket travel is not being considered at this time. However, we understand that there's a lot of paperwork related to travel, and we are fully committed to having processes as streamlined as possible as we make this transition.
Thank you. There's a question there also about CARES funding. We have received CARES funding in all 3 rounds from the federal government, and we have met all of our requirements to distribute that funding. I think in all 3 rounds, there was a half or something that was distributed directly to our students. So we'll continue to do that in addition to using the funding to support our campus and all the things that we're doing, and all the COVID-related costs and expenses, which have been significant, the impacts on our institution. I'm not sure about the gym being open. I know that ASI is making plans for that. If we're talking about the recreation center, I know they have a plan for that, and they're working on that. And I'm sure that more information will be coming out as we get closer as well. So lots of questions still for Ramel. So Ramel, keep typing. Keep those fingers going for sure. You all in IT, you might need to have a little open forum just to talk about the new program and let folks know about that too. Might be a good idea.
That's a great idea. Yeah, I'll bring that up with my division.
Thanks. Go ahead, Kristen.
I was just going to ask Ramel if you could clarify if detailed information will be going out to each user.
Yeah, that's true. So I forgot to provide you with more information regarding that. We're actually sending separate emails to faculty, to staff and MPPs with more information regarding the laptop rollout. So keep an eye out for that. It should be going out sometime this week.
Thank you. Let's see.
David, there was a question about whether we would be using mail-in tests. That's not anticipated at this time. We know that we have some off-campus centers, and we are developing plans to address members of our community that work out in those locations. So know that we have a plan, we're developing a plan, and we'll address that.
Thank you. Let's see, still lots of stuff for you. You're a very popular guy today, Ramel. John, let's see.
A couple of travel questions.
Yep. John, student travel, will the restrictions align with those for faculty and staff? Not sure if we've ironed that out yet.
I imagine that it will. I mean, that travel still must be essential. And there may be some distinctions, but the parameters, metrics will likely be the same.
Thank you. What's next?
David, there's a question about those with religious exemptions. Right now, we're focusing on folks who voluntarily want to upload their immunization documents. And again, that information will be coming from HR and our Dean of Students shortly. We are waiting on the Chancellor's Office to provide us more guidance on the exemptions for both employees and students for both medical and religious. And so more to come on that. Again, we're waiting for some information from the Chancellor's Office.
Thank you.
Mary, there's another question related to testing, whether or not it's available for ASC employees or just for stateside.
We are currently working with ASC to be able to offer both immunization verification and testing. That is in the works right now, and we do have it set up for ASI.
I think we dealt with the question on blanket travel already.
There was a new question about a specific scope of blanket travel. So this past semester, we were able to develop a procedure related to specific travel. And so I took down the name of that individual, and I'll reach out to see if we can apply the same thing for that question.
Thank you.
David, there is a question related to telecommuting.
From Samuel. Yep.
Yes.
We've been hosting since COVID started a weekly call with all of our managers on campus to give them clear guidance. And we will continue to do so. We have another call this Friday, and we will give that guidance again. And I would encourage you to continue to work with your supervisor and talk to your supervisor about what that guidance is. If you're not getting the answers that you need, certainly I would escalate that within your division and get the clarity that you're looking for.
Ramel, we're getting questions about whether the docking stations will support 2 monitors. Can you say anything about that?
Yes, my team has informed me that it does support multiple monitors, which is why in the message that we're sending to users, to the staff, it says monitor parentheses S, so monitors is supported as well.
Thanks. And I've been answering some of those questions in the chat too, letting people know, Ramel, that they're going to get more information, and there'll be contact information that they can follow up when they have questions.
Thank you.
I'll share as well that we'll be capturing a transcript of all of these questions and answers, and we'll have an opportunity to share that. We'll share that with you, Ramel, so that your team can see what those questions are and follow up on any of them individually or more broadly, as we see many of the questions are similar from a variety of different folks.
Okay.
David, there's a question about field trips related to travel. Field trips fall under a different type of travel. And we'll make sure that when we come out with the travel guidelines, that there's an FAQ that addresses that. But the message from Stephen Yim was not meant to address field trip travel by students.
Thank you.
And there's a question related to CSUF Children's Center and childcare. And the request is that we made reference to a list about care opportunities. Could that be reposted? And
Drop
is
that in
there
the
a
chat as
chance-
well.
Thanks. And is there a chance that the Children's Center will reopen in July?
The Children's Center is open and has been open for some time, and they are ramping up their capacity now. I know that we've heard about that. Did you know anything more about that, Mary? I see you shaking your head.
They're just waiting for the June 15th guidance to be rescinded.
Good. So I know they are open now and have been, so I would encourage you to reach out to them as well.
There's a question about whether the van pool will be available. Does anyone know the answer to that?
Kristen, I think, said it will be, so.
Thank
Yes,
you.
van pool will be available. Please reach out to Commuter Services or Alyssa Thomas directly. And we'll coordinate that for you and get all your subsidies in order.
Thank you. Let's see. Gene Hoda Campus Mail will be coming back. I think we'll get back to normal on campus mail, so that's good. Anyone who does have a medical condition should reach out to Griselda Marquez to talk about accommodations that can be made. We are actively working on the elevator and stairwell spaces, those kind of things, and we're waiting for some of the guidance to change as well so that we'll be able to accommodate that. Please do reach out to the Children's Center for specifics on their opening and that information. Just to clarify, if the EUA is lifted before July 1, the intention is that we would comply with the Chancellor's new policy that everyone be vaccinated. Of course, there will be some rollout on that, and they'll tell us how to do that. And then we'll roll that out for folks, let you know what needs to happen there. Again, we're really comfortable with the plan that we have in place where we'll be able to have the testing capacity that we need to be able to address that. And so that we'll kind of have those two paths going as well. Okay, lots of stuff still in there for you, Ramel, but we'll see if y'all can host a little something of your own to answer some of those. We won't take all the time now to do that. So thank you. Looks to me like that's the bulk of what's left.
A lot of the questions seem to be about a lot of people got the loaner laptops. So for those of you guys who got loaner laptops, they're actually not that powerful. Like a lot of you, when you do Zoom, you can't even use the virtual background. The new laptops will allow you to do that. They're more powerful. They got more processing power. They've got more RAM. So the plan is to help you transfer your data in those loaner laptops and your desktops to Dropbox. And then we'll swap them out with a newer laptop. And if you're still working from home, you'll have that better laptop with you to help with your computing needs. So I think that answers like 3 or 4 questions.
Perfect.
Okay. So yeah, if you guys can get me the questions, I'll answer more when we go offline, and then we will schedule a division of IT discussion regarding the rollout because of the questions that have just come up today.
I think that'd be helpful. And there are a couple folks that have put things in there that we will follow up with you individually on. So thank you for that. And then the last one I was just gonna, someone asked about Tuffy's basic needs. I believe that the intention is to ramp that back up as we come back to campus, although I think some of that's been going on even throughout. There's been lots of support that's been provided for our students. So that's a great thing. Any last things in there? Kristen, no matter how early you get your parking, deductions will start July 1st. Is that correct?
You will have, if you purchase it a week, you can purchase it a week prior to your July 1 entry date, and we will apply that payment towards July as if you paid for it on July 1. So your first official deduction would come out in your August paycheck.
Thank you. Thank you. And we might just end on the note to say that somebody asked about the next one of these will be June 3rd from 4 to 5, and we'll look forward to seeing you then. You don't have to wait that long. If you have other questions, there is a anonymous feedback form on the COVID website that you can use. You're also welcome to email any of us, give any of us a phone call and let us know what's going on so that we can help to address those things. So thanks everybody for attending today. We really appreciate it. Thanks to our panelists. There were over 500 of us on the call at one time, so that's great to see. We hope you all stay well.